These are my reflections. Yeah.
Hi, Michelle here with today's golden thought. And today's golden thought is Tinder Swindler / I would never / have I ever? And with that being said, I watched the show, the documentary on the Tinder Swindler on Netflix. You can go check it out. But anyways, when I wanted to bring this up, because when this show was mentioned, usually the first thing that I hear is like, oh my gosh, how could these women be so dumb or whatever, and getting themselves into this amount of debt. And my first thought is, this is an emotional attachment that this person created with these women. And so when that emotional attachment comes, it's so easy for people to drop their guard and to not see the truth behind the words, behind the lack of action, or even the action, and understand how to sift through it to actually see the truth, and sometimes just think clearly. And with that being said, is we say I would never let that happen to me, but I always ask, but have you ever let that happen to you? So for me, I go back to just knowing an emotional connection. It really does allow us to bring our guard down. And sometimes when we're getting fed information verbally, we tend to forget about everything else, and we're just waiting for that next thing to happen. Even if it's a little step in that direction from what we heard verbally, it still connects with our emotions and saying okay, it is going to happen. So for instance, even in a job, for instance, if your boss or whoever it is like, oh, the next promotion is coming, or we are going to, raise your salary within the next 3 months, and then the 3 months comes and it doesn't happen. And sometimes we even listen to those words because maybe we have a great relationship with our, boss. Or maybe I've been there for X amount of years and there's a sense of loyalty. That's also an emotional attachment that I have, which lets me let things kind of slide under the rug when they're not happening as quickly as I'd like them to. Now think about people. Have you ever had a time where you've been whether if it's a friendship, a relationship, where you're hearing what you want to hear, but the action isn't taking place, or you get a little bit of action and a lot of words, and you're not thinking about what's making sense and what's not making sense. So it's so quick to judge or point the finger, but it's really saying have I ever allowed something like that to happen? Maybe I never allowed anybody to swindle me out of $250,000, but it's just the same. I could have been swindled out of my time. I could have been swindled out of time, and that is so valuable, right? Swindled out of time and energy. That is a huge currency as well. Even though we put money at the top, it's our time and our energy is a huge currency that we were giving at the same time. Right. So, and I also think would I never, I used to say, I would never let someone cheat on me or stay in the relationship. And guess what? I have been in a relationship where I was cheated on. But that's a whole nother conversation, because I had to switch that around to I allowed myself to get cheated on. And that's a whole nother golden thought for a different day. But just going back to I would never, but it's really, have you ever? And so just seeing that through the eyes and kind of taking down the judgment and putting yourself in someone's situation or shoes, and just understanding the emotional attachment and how we can seem to process things when we're emotionally connected to someone or something. Even years in a relationship or a friendship. Oh, I've been friends with them for this long, so we kind of let things slide under, right? I've been in this relationship for this long, we let things slide under. But there it goes again, our time currency is going as well, right? Our energy currency is going as well. So really, we think there's a difference, but there's really not, because of that currency of our time and our energy is very precious to us, and how we give that as well. So just something to think about, a golden thought to think about, and just understanding we just never know if we'll be put in that situation, and understanding, hey, was there a time that I was actually swindled out of my time and energy, and maybe even money as well? It wasn't $250,000, but being swindled is being swindled, and it's not our job necessarily to judge someone just because it was some crazy high dollar amount at that time. Treasure yourself and shine.